hear me. Once you have those solid, I mean, if they're solid enough, and what I'll do is I'll go through. I know I said like just put down subjects or issues or whatever, but the reason I sort of I put the word because in capitals, like I found it and then changed all of it so I could find it easily. So now you're shaping whatever your subject matter is into an actual 3 points that you're trying to make. Again, these are the points that have to do with whatever your like theme is, probably like division or racism or college. So for some people, just putting it that you have half of the argument going. The other thing that's happening a little bit is because of the last essay, I think. You're really focusing, or these are your topic sentences / your supporting arguments, right? And they're focused on subject. So you're not talking about the essay anymore, like the arguments of the person anymore. When you get into it, you might mention things about how the person's arguing or what they're doing, but the focus of it is trying to be like, here's an idea, and here are the 2 articles and how they support this idea. So that's what the outline is trying to get you to do. So let me go there in a second. So once you have those, you want to put them on the outline. All right, so my example I'm doing are too many people going to college, and the other side is not dumb. I just want to go through one supporting point and explain sort of what you're trying to. All right, so the main supporting point, right, is trying to be something about, again, it's probably some sort of theme, but it has to do with both of your articles. Like both of your articles need to be able to say something about whatever your statement is. So you're trying to shape a statement that you can then discuss according to what your articles say. So I have people are becoming more separated and divided because understanding someone else's perspective has become too difficult. Because the idea is the other side is not dumb, right? That's all about trying to understand other people's perspectives. The best thing to do is to have the book or have the article open, whichever, and scanning through it to help you figure out what connections exist. So no matter what, you want to find something that each article can discuss. Now here's sort of the next thing. So I come up with this statement about, all right, people being divided, and because we can't understand people's perspectives anymore. The first thing I need to do is pick one of my articles to start with, right? And here's a way to figure it out. I don't know if this is confusing, don't bother, but this may help some people. When you do the because thing, you have two parts of your sentence, right? The first article should deal with the first part of the sentence. And then you can do the second article does the second part of the sentence. That's sort of what to think about as you're just writing your draft, right? So this is, I need to pick a text that I'm going to use that helps me show that people are becoming more separated and divided. I have to prove that part first. Are too many people going to college, and just make that guy he's kind of a punk about it. He's very interested in being being culturally literate, and so he's very. I can sort of show him as like a divider guy. Right, I don't know, like some people to participate in the culture, you have to have this liberal education and know what these things are that I don't even know what he's talking about. So anyway, so the first part of the sentence, people are becoming more separated, divided. I'm going to I'm going to deal with are too many people going to college. And now I'm writing, here's what I'm writing down. Main things I'm going to focus on and a quote if I can find it. So the things that I just said. Things I'm going to mention that help me show that he is dividing everybody or whatever. Now, what could happen, which would help me write more, is that I could think now, is there anything in the other article, which is the other side who's not dumb, about people becoming more separated and divided? Yeah, because she talks all about how we have our little groups that we're in. We don't listen to other people. So I can sort of, for this one, I'll probably be able to talk about both of my articles. Just about this one point, people becoming separated and divided. And again, the key is just to have to open the article. Because right now, if you think of the article, you're like probably thinking about like two things, right? Like, oh, that one, that's about like incarceration, I think, right? So you forget like all the different things the person talks about. So your belief is there's in there somewhere a connection, right? That meaning it addresses a subject that your other one also deals with. And even if you don't find like a specific perfect quote, I find a section, copy and paste it. I'll figure out a specific quote later. So this is I'm calling everybody, dividing the world into literate and non-literate people. So the other thing is when you're looking at your like the sign-in page, right? Revise them to say use the word because, whatever. But if you're not sure about one of them or you only have two or whatever, like draw my attention to it, then I can look at it and help you with it, write comments on it. So then what I would do, if I talk about both of these things in relationship to the first idea, then I would shift to the next idea, which is understanding someone else's perspective has become too difficult. This one is a lot of this is about the other side's not dumb. Because it's all about there's misinformation, lies, which make it difficult to believe people. And then there's echo chambers where we surround ourselves with people who think like us. So there's a bunch of things I can point to that will help me prove that understanding someone else's perspective has become too difficult. All right, the last thing that goes into this business, counter argument, is the third thing. So I come up with my because statement that's broken in two. I deal with the first part of it, try to connect to my articles. Deal with the second part of it, connect to my articles. And then the last thing you're doing, the counter argument, is you're trying to figure out what an opposing person would say to whatever point you're making. And you're trying to bring that up and then find a way to shoot it down, basically. Right, so I have, I don't know, but and it always starts with like some people will say, or there are those who say, or there are those who believe. Some people believe all that. So you bring that up, you say what it is, and then you explain why they're wrong, right? So some people will say that if a person tries hard enough and practices, they will be able to begin to listen to the views of other people. And so I will say something like, well, that may have been true once. There's so many lies out there, and it's impossible to really understand or believe in another person's perspective. It's kind of a grim argument, but still. So you're just trying to figure out, and it doesn't have to be completely opposite your point. It can be part of the point. Like people are becoming more separated and divided. I'm not thinking someone would say the opposite of that is that no, people are becoming closer together. So I could do that one too, maybe. But I'm just making it up. So some people are going to say that we're not becoming more separated and divided, but we are actually becoming closer because of technology and all of this. Then I have to be like, but those people are totally wrong for this reason or whatever. have to come up with a reason. That's a place for, again, if you can use your articles, that would be perfect. You can say, you know, some people think we're becoming closer because of technology, but instead it's driving us apart. And then I use some information to prove that. I think I just took a quote, or I took a section from the Other People Dumb Thing. So this is the thing that happens. So I'm going to be going over your three main statements. You want to check in with those two if you're not. What often happens, or what happens to a lot of people, is that they end up maybe two solid ideas, and then the third one they're just sort of saying the same thing and just using different words. And when I point that out, you're trying to think of another point, another separate enough idea.